Hey, Tipo here. Ready for some fun English? Let's go.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Podcast and Chill. I'm Gwen, your walking encyclopedia.
And I'm Leo.
Dude, seriously? We literally just started.
My bad. I'm a bit sleepy right now. I had a hard time falling asleep last night.
Oh, what kept you up?
You know, it was one of those nights where your brain just wouldn't shut up.
What was it yapping about?
Every single thing, but more like negative. It felt like I had a rerun of all those embarrassing moments in my life in one sitting.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Been there, done that.
And the weird thing is, inside my head it felt like chaos, though my room was completely peaceful.
Well, maybe that's because it's not really about your room, but about what's happening up in your head.
What do you mean?
I mean, usually it's what's going on inside our heads that controls how we feel and act, not what's happening around us.
So you're saying a peaceful place doesn't matter if my mind is messy?
Or flip that around. If your mind is at peace, you could likely relax even in the middle of a wild Black Friday crowd at Walmart.
That's actually pretty wild. So, in other words, we become what we think about?
That's right. And that's exactly what we're talking about today.
Sweet! I'm pumped. Let's get started.
But before we dig into it, guys, don't forget we'll break down some cool and useful vocab later.
We also have this awesome PDF with all the words and practice exercises. You definitely don't want to miss that.
All right, let's jump in.
So I guess this whole mental chaos thing is actually pretty common, huh? Like, even someone put together like you has to deal with it sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. It's super common. A friend of mine described it perfectly.
What did she say?
She said it's like her brain turns into this nonstop Spotify playlist that you just can't turn off.
Honestly, that doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah, except it's the free version with ads.
Oh, then no thanks. That's brutal.
And it gets worse.
What?
It's always playing the absolute worst tracks.
What kinds of songs are we talking about?
Like, it just keeps replaying the sounds of your mistakes and your fears.
Mine would definitely be stuck on You're Not Good Enough, probably the deluxe extended version.
And I bet for a lot of our listeners, their most played song is Your English Needs a Lot of Work.
Tell me about it. I have this friend who's been learning English for years.
You mean Thomas?
Yes, he's always like, I'm just not a language person.
Really?
Yeah, especially when she sees her classmates picking it up way faster than her.
Ugh, the comparison trap. Gets us every time.
And now he's totally convinced she'll never be fluent.
How awful.
His brain just keeps playing that same depressing story over and over.
That's such a classic pattern. It's like a million thoughts just explode in our heads all at once, and we get completely overwhelmed.
For me, it's like having 50 browser tabs open in my head at the same time.
Yes, and one of them is always the unread messages tab, making you feel guilty for not replying to people.
Then there's the cringe memories tab, replaying that one stupid thing you said in high school.
Don't forget the Am I good enough tab, constantly whispering that you're not smart enough, not talented enough, not whatever enough.
Why does our brain love holding on to all that crap? It's like a highlight reel of every embarrassing moment I've ever had.
What's even crazier is that playlist keeps running no matter where you are, whether everything around you is total chaos or dead silent.
If this mental chaos were an Olympic sport, I'd definitely win gold.
It's so exhausting. You can be having this amazing day, but then one tiny thing goes wrong, and suddenly all those tabs start blasting at once.
And there goes my perfect day.
But the thing is, while many people think that what happens to them controls how they feel, that's not actually true.
So what does?
It's our thoughts that drive our emotions and our actions. Really, our whole life.
So you're saying it's not what happens to us, but how we think about what happens.
Take Thomas, for example. It's not that he's actually bad at it. It's the thoughts he keeps repeating that make him act like he's bad at it.
That makes sense. He hasn't been practicing English much lately. I think that mindset is definitely part of the problem.
Right? And then not practicing makes him worse, which just confirms all those negative thoughts he already had.
Yikes! I thought my cooking skills were depressing, but that cycle sounds even worse.
Well, I might not be able to help with the cooking, but I do have an idea for breaking that mental loop.
Oh yeah? Lay it on me.
There's this quote from Marcus Aurelius that I love.
Marcus who? Sorry, my education clearly has some gaps.
Marcus Aurelius. He was a Roman emperor and a philosopher. A pretty badass combo, right?
Okay, new knowledge unlocked. So what did this Roman emperor philosopher guy say?
He said, and I quote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength."
So basically, he's telling us to focus on controlling our minds instead of trying to control everything around us.
Exactly.
That seems way harder than controlling the weather, though.
Actually, it's easier. You can't stop the rain, but you can decide whether it ruins your mood or not.
So like, Thomas can't control how fast other people learn English, but he can choose whether to let that motivate or crush him.
Now you're getting it. The moment you realize your thoughts are creating your experience, everything starts to shift.
Okay, but how do you actually control thoughts that feel completely automatic?
Great question. And honestly, it's not about flipping some magic switch.
So, no quick solution.
I wish. But no, it takes time. First, you need to notice your thought patterns, then slowly learn to guide them in a better way.
So, what do we do?
We need to be smart about our environment.
Wait, didn't you say our mind controls our environment, not the other way around?
I did. But this doesn't go against that idea.
Okay, now you sound like a philosopher, which means I'm confused.
Haha, sorry. Let me explain more simply.
I'm all ears.
The idea is that we have to choose the best environment that helps our minds do well. That's the real control.
So, we need to be smart about choosing our environment?
Yep. Remember when you used to struggle writing essays at home?
Oh yeah, I'd get so distracted.
What distracted you?
My bed was right there. Netflix was calling me, and I just couldn't focus.
And what did you do to get rid of those distractions?
I had to go to coffee shops or the library to get anything done.
Why did you choose those places?
I don't know. I just felt like I could focus better there.
Right? Some people might say, Leo should be able to focus anywhere.
I used to say that about myself, actually.
But the point is, you noticed where your brain works better and chose to go there.
So?
Think of it. You didn't just stay at home and hope to focus. You changed your environment to help your brain. You took control of the situation.
I see. So even when my willpower was falling apart...
It's not about using willpower all the time, Leo. It's about making smart choices.
That actually makes me feel better. I used to think I was weak.
Not weak at all. You were doing the right thing. You just didn't realize it.
Cool. And hey, if I can do it, so can our listeners.
Totally. Hey everyone, have you ever changed your environment to help your mind or focus better?
Good question. Maybe you study English better in a cafe or feel more confident in a certain place.
Tell us in the comments.
Having said that, how do we get better at this whole thing?
Simple. We need to ask better questions.
What kind of questions?
When you couldn't focus at home, what did you usually ask yourself?
Probably something like, what's wrong with me? Why am I so freaking lazy?
I knew it. That question assumes you're broken and need fixing.
Aren't I though?
No, you're not. You're not a broken appliance that needs repair.
So what should I ask instead?
Instead, you can ask, what does my mind need to focus better?
That feels kinder.
And more helpful. The first question says something is wrong with you. The second one helps you find a solution.
Yeah, that's true.
So instead of fighting against your thoughts, you just work with them.
But my thoughts are all over the place. It's like working with a noisy coworker.
I get that. But think of your mind like water. You can't stop it, but you can guide it.
How do we guide it?
First, understand this. Your thoughts affect your actions, and your actions shape your life.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's talk about discipline.
I go first. I'm terrible at it.
So are lots of people. They think discipline means doing things you hate.
Doesn't it?
Nope. Real discipline is when your thoughts and actions work together, like in harmony.
What do you mean by harmony?
For example, if you want to exercise in the morning, instead of thinking, ugh, I hate this, try thinking, this is how I care for myself.
So, I change how I see the action?
Correct. When your thoughts and actions match, it feels easier, not forced.
Sounds simple, but I'm not sure I can do it.
Why not?
Because I'm just not a disciplined person.
Why do you think so?
Well, you see, I can't do everything perfectly like I want to. I guess I'm not disciplined enough.
Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about how you talk to yourself. That's where confidence starts too.
Really?
Really. If you tell yourself, mistakes help me learn, instead of, I'm so stupid, you'll feel totally different even in the same situation.
Ah, I get it now.
When you and your mind become a team, things change. Success becomes inevitable.
So, will I become a billionaire?
Haha, no promises. But you'll feel stronger and more in control of your life.
Well, that kind of success isn't bad either. Plus, now I know I'm not broken. I'm just using the wrong approach to life.
You're definitely not broken. You're just human with a mind that flows like water.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, we can learn to direct that flow.
Right? We can start shaping our thought flows right now.
For our listeners who are learning English out there, instead of thinking, I'll never be fluent in English, you can think, I'm getting better every day.
Or if you want to start working out, instead of thinking, this is going to feel awful, you can think, this is how I show love to my body.
Or instead of, I'm a terrible cook, try every meal I make is a chance to learn something new in the kitchen.
Ha, you're picking this skill up real fast, Leo.
Hope our audience is too. Now, as promised, here comes some of the most useful vocabulary from our conversation today.
But before we dive into that, let's all stand up, do some stretches, and grab a glass of water.
Yes, that'll help your brain stay happy and ready to learn. All right, Gwen, I think it's time to go over some key vocabulary from our talk today. First, put together. It describes someone who looks neat, organized, and in control. For example, she always looks so put together, even on busy mornings.
Second, turn off. It means to switch something off or stop it from running. For example, don't forget to turn off the lights before you leave.
Third, pick something up. It means to learn something casually or without formal instruction. For example, I picked up a few words in French while traveling.
Fourth, overwhelmed. It means feeling like there's too much to handle, physically, mentally, or emotionally. For example, I was so overwhelmed with work that I forgot to eat lunch.
Fifth, focus on something or someone. It means to pay close attention or give full effort to one thing. For example, I need to focus on this report, so I'm turning off my phone.
Sixth, go against something or someone. It means to oppose or disagree with an idea, rule, or person. For example, she went against her parents' wishes and became an artist.
Seventh, get rid of something or someone. It means to remove or eliminate something you don't want or need. For example, we need to get rid of this old couch. It's falling apart.
And finally, be all over the place. It means to be disorganized. For example, his thoughts were all over the place during the speech. So guys, keep in mind that our mind is a garden.
A garden?
Yep. You plant small seeds of better thoughts, water them a little each day, and slowly things start to grow. That's such a beautiful way to think about it. I know.
So if someone is stuck with the mental playlist where some terrible tracks keep on repeat,
They can slowly start adding better songs to the mix.
Gwen is right, guys. You don't have to delete the whole playlist at once.
Just start including some tracks that actually make you feel good.
Yup, maybe tomorrow, instead of thinking, I'm terrible at English, you can just notice that thought and think.
Okay, that's just my mind being dramatic again.
And that's already a huge step, isn't it?
Absolutely. Because once you realize you're not your thoughts, but the one observing them, everything changes.
I love that. So, for everyone listening, remember that. While your thoughts are powerful, you're even more powerful than your thoughts.
And be patient with yourself. Change takes time, but it's so worth it.
Don't forget to download that free PDF we mentioned earlier. It has everything.
That's right. It includes all the new words from the episode, along with exercises to help you master them.
Thanks for hanging out with us today, everyone.
Catch you in the next episode of Podcast and Chill.
And in the meantime, remember, you become what you think.
So think good thoughts.